Houston Dash versus San Diego Wave. You could tune in and watch that on Golazo and also on Paramount Plus, kicking off at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we were really, really hyped about talking about this particular match, that so much to the point that we were actually going to have General Manager Cami Ashton come on the show, talk a little bit about San Diego Wave and a little bit of their turnaround, because we're seeing them do some incredible stuff on the pitch. But turns out we just have to issue a congratulations. Instead, she will not be joining us. So sorry for everyone who's tuning in live for this moment, but she's got a great reason. Cami Ashton has just gone into labor. Breaking news. She's letting us know that we could share that, and she is looking forward to joining us all in the future. Congratulations.
Wow.
Yo, congratulations. My God. Going into labor right now, like calm, cool, collected. She's still working. Like props to Cami.
Yeah.
Imagine going into labor but still being like, oh, by the way, I can't do the interview. Like, I'd for sure just be not turning up. I'd be like, I'm just going to the hospital. Yeah. So
just
incredible.
That's gonna allow us to just like hop right into this game a bit. Let's take a look at where I want to start with the Houston Dash side of things in this one. This is a team that is coming off of what was probably a pretty painful result last week. We're talking keeping an elite Orlando Pride side scoreless through ultimately 90 minutes. And then at the death, Corey Dyke getting the game winner for Orlando Pride. That's got to resonate with you as a team. There's a huge opportunity here in front of them as they go up against San Diego Wave, a team that has obviously at this point, heading to the halfway point of the season, we can all kind of confidently say they've turned a corner. They are a team to compete with. They bring it week in and week out. Darian, for you, what are some of those key things that you're looking for Houston to try to put up another one of these good performances against a really good team in the league?
So it was tough. Their last game against Orlando Pride wasn't a poor game on Houston's behalf at all. They actually looked much stronger defensively. I thought Abby Smith stood on her head. She had 7 saves against the Pride. And I think when you have a keeper showing out like that in a match, it makes you want to be in lockstep and just be a warrior in the back line. I think we saw that. And unfortunately, that goal from Corey Dyke, shout out to her, but it was a deflection that led to the goal from the shot. They need to build on that confidence that they can lock out a top-tier team going into this next match, because San Diego Wave has their vulnerabilities. If I'm Houston, I'm looking at, okay, San Diego gave Seattle 2 goals from the top of the 18. Nobody truly applying pressure, nobody getting in their face, not allowing them to, not forcing them to push the ball wide. They gave them space at the top of the 18. So if I'm a Yasmin Ryan, whoever's in that front line, Messiah Bright, Michelle Lozia, go shoot your shot from distance, because San Diego has showed that they're very vulnerable defensively. Sure, they're crazy going forward, but I still think that they're young and not fully locked in their defensive shape, because they are so aggressive and possessive heavy up top. So I think that there's a big chance for Houston. I think it's going to be an interesting game, but Houston I don't want them to lose the confidence that they showed for 97 minutes against Orlando Pride, because there's still a chance. They're not far from that playoff line. We do this every year with Houston. They need to have consistency, at least defensively, to maintain that.
For you, Jen, on the other side of things here, for San Diego, I mean, maybe we could say a little bit of similar energy compared to where they were, a week ago. Dropped maybe a little bit of a nail biter, a tactical nail biter against Seattle Reign, a 2-1 loss. I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, these are 2 teams coming off of losses out of last week. They want to go into this one with the mindset that they're going to snatch all three points here. But if you're San Diego, and maybe you know that about yourself at this point in the season, that there also are some vulnerabilities. Is it as simple as just kind of tightening those things up, or is there something specific you're looking for San Diego this weekend, John?
I honestly, I don't think it's anything super specific. I think, Darian hit the nail on the head. It was long range shots. And when you're looking at that, especially as a backline, I'm thinking, right, that is as simple as putting pressure on the ball. That's not got anything to do with shape. That's not got anything to do with your press or it being played through. That's a case of midfielders, 6s, centre backs putting pressure on the ball. And so to answer your question, I think it is maybe actually a pretty straightforward fix for them. They have been on an incredible run, right? We've all seen the quality of the Wave this season from last season. And I think losing, their first game in 7 matches, I think it was, they will want the bounce back. And I think that's what's going to be hard for the Dash, because the Wave are going to want to get back to this form. So you can look at it either way. You can look at it for Dash saying, right, okay, the Wave have got their weakness. They've just had their first loss. Let's take advantage of that. We lost really narrowly to the Pride. We can go on, and if we're tight-knitted again, we can go and get a result. But when's the hardest time to face a top team? When they've just lost. They will want the biggest bounce back. They will have had a solid week of training where they've just had their first loss in a while. They will have been tightening up on exactly where they need to do. So I fear a little bit for the Dash in that sense, knowing that the Wave have got the quality. We've seen it so much with Cascarino and Leon firing as a front third. Do I think they can bounce back from their loss? Yes. So I fear for the Dash a little bit in that sense.
Darian, you think that the Dash has it in them? So I'm curious if
I think there's a chance.
You think anybody's got a chance?
Anybody's got one.
I do wonder. Like you laid out some good stuff here about like maybe the opportunities that are in front of them and how they can get there. Who are the players though? Like who's a player, one or two even, that you think for the Dash are going to be the ones to kind of lead the way in making sure they get those 3 points?
Yo, my money's still on Yasmin Ryan. We haven't gotten 2024 Yaz with the Dash yet, because I think she's one of those players like an Allie Sentnor even. We're throwing Utah again. Shout out to Utah. I'm there. That's why there's horns behind me, guys. But she's one of those players I think she's asked to do so much more than she should. Whether it's defensively, asked to be a leader in ways that I don't know are her bread and butter. Whereas with Gotham, she got to be very fluid in the way she moves. She got to come to the back line. She got to play in the midfield. She got to sit as a winger, be a false 9, and just really just be very creative on the ball. So I think if Houston can be very strong defensively, they can keep that from last week against Orlando and get Yaz on the ball in spaces where she can be creative, where she can combine with a Messiah Bright or somebody else that's up top that's lethal, that you know exactly what you're going to get from Messiah. She's going to hold the ball up. She's going to lay it off. She's going to go run in behind and look to go 1v1. Simplifying the game in that way, but allowing Yaz to be very creative is going to be the key for Houston, because I think San Diego, again, the vulnerabilities in the back. And if you can be a little bit unpredictable with that, with how good Yasmin Ryan is, that's going to be effective for them. And hey, if they read that, they shut down Yaz, that opens up those long range shots. That opens up a lot of pockets of space. So to me, I think she's the charm for them going forward.
I think that's a good shout for a player to kind of help turn it around for Houston. I mean, as far as what can actually happen in this game, let's have some fun. Let's make a little bit of a prediction here. Jen, what do you think this game's going to boil down to? Who's going to get the goals? Is there going to be a fun scoreline in this one?
I think this game's going to boil down to San Diego Wave coming off the back of a loss and having fire in their bellies and wanting to go big on this one. I'm going to go 3-0. I think it's a pretty high scoring game for the Wave. I'm gonna go bounce back for them.
You think the Wave are gonna mollywop Houston?
Yeah.
Woo. All right. I'm here for it.
Maggie Graham though, the 22-year-old for Dash.
Yeah.
I think she's been a standout. Had I think 3 goals this season already. For being 22 in this league to be consistently, showing up. But I would watch out for her. She's awesome.
Right on. How about you? Do you got 4-0? What's going on?
Yeah, 4-0 to Houston Dash. No, that might be my worst prediction I've ever made. I'm gonna go. I'm thinking. I wish I would have brought up Avery Patterson earlier as well, because she loves a long range shot off of both feet. I'm gonna go 2-1.
Ooh,
Houston.
All right.
I don't know. I'm feeling the orange. I don't know what it is.
I love it. Be bold. Be brave, my
What
friend.
do you think, Sandra? What's yours?
Listen, it's tough out there in Houston.
Yeah.
And I know this is more like an evening game, but you're still gonna feel that heat. I've had to cover my fair share of games out in Houston around these kind of late summer nights, and it still feels pretty warm as it does in the early afternoon. So I can't imagine that that's not going to play some bit of a factor, although both of these teams I don't think will. They both understand that they're two teams that have to play in the same thing. So I don't know if we're going to get that big kind of blowout. I think maybe we could get something a little bit more narrow. I'm also feeling a 2-1 in this one as well, but I'm going to go the Wave. I think they're going to be chomping at the bit. I think Kenza Dali is going to be a little bit frustrated with how they left that game against Seattle, especially how the goals came, not shutting down a little bit in time, maybe leaving just enough space for some of these shots to get off. And she's used to covering a lot of ground. And this will be a challenge, I think, for the French international. She's definitely going to get introduced to some good old-fashioned Texas weather for sure. But I think there's enough there for San Diego to kind of pull things off. And I think they're going to get the bounce back as well. 2-1. And I want to see Cascarino get on the score sheet again. I think she's quietly putting together an MVP caliber season. So we'll see if it continues in Houston for her.